All right. Welcome everybody. It's William Jamming, and I just I strapped my iPhone. This is my iPhone. I don't know how to uh, give you guys this because I'm using my iPhone as a camera. Yeah. And here's my Mac here. Okay. And here's my pad. So I got another camera which is here. Okay. Yeah, which is here, and because the MacBook just got like a two lighting socket, so yeah, I have to like disable the screen, so I can get one camera at that direction, and then iPhone just go directly down here. So hopefully, I can record not only me but also the head. Okay, the head. Hello, hi, and the iPads. Yeah, so it's like a ad hoc studio, because previously, like the um, previously I make a video about right now AI can like generate time lapses. So as long as circumstances permit, I will record me not only just to create the art but also um, a camera that shoot me of how I made this, and I can like look directly at you. Okay, just first just like a future proof my video, because I don't want um, some random hater on Twitter say, "Hey, um, your art is like generated by AI and time lapses is created by AI." I will do that as long as I got these settings, because this it's a really complex setting for me. By the way, because I have to like keep everything here, and yeah. By the way, because I also record like coding videos, so I have to use like a multiple screen so I can like debug and watch a lot of Stack Overflow and one screen, another my compiler, the other test, something like that. So, and of course, I got like project deployed to the server, so I have to check the server, so I have to got like a Linux SSH terminal. Yeah. By the way, if you're interested, you can. I will not bore you guys with all this technical detail. If you're interested, you can go to my coding channel. But right now, I just want to show you guys the setup. And recently, I've been like really interested into the material. So I want to learn this and actually test my skill by by like doing a live um, learning session, so you guys can not only see me doing this but also can watch me uh, learn and improve. So that's the point. So yeah, I'm going to make this to at the center here. Yeah, can I just put it here? Yeah, it's really unstable. Let me just get the screen out a little bit. Okay, so yeah, I believe that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is to practice drawing on Procreate, and I got this. Let me use the Studio Pen as a. First, let's add a background color. Okay, I want to just have a. Maybe that's too much. Let me just have a background color so it's just nicer uh, to see things, and there will be our background, and then I want a plane so I can draw everything above the plane. So I'm going to add a little bit bright, but do not add any of the saturation. So I want a plane that nicely below, because I want test a different material, and that plane will sort of serve as a guideline that I can show on this material. So what I'm going to do is to have a brighter plane rather than this. Let me just add the um, control. Let me make it bright and true tone. Yeah. Sometimes I forgot to switch on the true tone. True tone is a great way to actually get every color correct. Okay, and then I think I can get some sort of a darker. I think I'll go darker, just get more contrast here, and get a plane. So I want like a really big plane, by the way. So that's brighter plane. Okay, just doing some preparation here. I think this too much. I'm going to go like here, something like this. Okay, straight line and sorry, straight line here. Hold it. Yeah, good. And then a straight line here. Hold it and yeah. By the way, I'm not an expert. I'm still a beginner in digital art and art in general. So yeah, I just want to record and this is like a vlog sort of thing. Record my process. And yeah, so we got a plane here, and what I'm going to do is to add a sphere as a practice. So what I'm going to do is to add a first. Let's add a sort of like a break sphere. So um, this is more. Let me add some contrast color here. So the sphere would be approximately this color and a new layer. So rest assured, I'm going to have a maybe a little bit big one here. Okay, and with tab, you can got a like a perfect circle. I love this. Drop, voila. Yeah, pretty good, right? And I believe we can, before we actually do that, this is my personal preference, always make it duplicate. Okay, I don't want to, ruin this if I like experiment something, duplicate it and hide it. So you always have a copy in your hand. It's like a version control system, if you know what I mean. I'm a programmer. I love version control. I always have a backup plan. So what I'm going to do is to first test this by drawing a normal sphere, okay, and I'm going to add a alpha log or make a mask. It doesn't really matter. Let me add a alpha log because it's a fairly simple one. Since this is a sphere, I'm thinking the light. Okay, the light will come this way. Okay, so the highlight should be here. Should have a shadow here and cast shadow on plane. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to, since it's alpha locked, so we can have a airbrush. I'm going to have a soft brush. I try to use the default brush um, as much as possible. Okay, as often as possible. So let me just turn it down a little bit. Okay, since we got this color here, we can just turn it a little bit down because I want it like a mix it a little bit. So there are like multiple ways of doing things. So I'll use the traditional way, which is just to mix it, just to turn it down a little bit. Or if you don't want like a um, hard darkness, you can just make it more saturated. Okay, you can make it more saturated and still can get that kind of darkness shadow, but it gives you kind of the mixture and more transparency to it. That really depends on you, by the way. So, for example, if I got something like this, I can just make this size a little bit bigger. You can get this more transparent color. Okay, transparent shadow. I love this. Of course, you want hard shadow. You can do something like the color like this. Okay, but this sometimes you may think that hey, I don't want this to be too dirty. Just avoid use like a pure dark. Always add more saturation. So if you do something like this, okay, sorry, I should alpha lock this. I believe I did not alpha lock this. Okay, so you got this. It can give it kind of a dirtiness because it's too dirty if you just add too much. So I prefer use more saturated rather than this. So yeah, so here let me just use a color that's more saturated. here. Okay, and then I can have a like lighter um, and more natural shadow like this. Okay, so you got a shadow like this, and we got this like a hard shadow below. So what I'm going to do is to add another one. I believe we can like alpha lock. Okay, unlock this, and I can add another layer. I believe here. This layer should be a little bit below because the shadow cast should be below. Okay, so what I'm going to do is choose steel. I want to use the default brush studio pen. I love this one. So what I'm going to do is to use this dark shadow. So I'm going to use the dark one. Okay, really dark. You can double tap. I believe you can get like a purest color. And I'm going to draw maybe a ellipse here. Okay, and you tap this, you get like a really straight one here. I believe this should do. I want move this and hide this a little bit, so I want move this everything just higher up a touch, like this, and then I can choose this color, right, and drop the color. Okay. Once you drop the color, you can hide this whole layer behind. It'll give you a really nice shadow. And yeah, I love this. I love this. And yeah, this will be our first um, like a normal plain vanilla sort of cube. And what I'm going to do is to add more to this. So I want to add highlight because this is just normal light and shadow and the cast shadow. I don't want this. I want more to this. So what I'm going to do is to first duplicate this because I'm so scared of making mistakes. So every time I want to do something crazy, do some because I'm not very good at like got some mask something like that. So I will then alpha lock this. Hopefully, this will work. And what I'm going to do is to change that to airbrush, soft airbrush, really soft. As you can see, I got the opacity really turned down because bright color can be so much more than you expected. Okay, that really by the way, it really depends on the material of this cube. So I want something bright. You can color pick the color here, and if you want bright, you can just make it brighter. Of course, depending on the light. Okay, so if it's a like a cold light, you can get something like this. But it's a bright light, you can get something like this. Add a little bit of saturation, you can get some light like this. Okay, you can add more things and just be creative. You do not necessarily need to have a like a pure like white light. Okay, let me just show you. Okay, so you got this light area here. Let me add a little bit of opacity, right? That's definitely too much. And let me make it a little bit smaller. Okay, so you got somewhere here. Okay, and make it more opacity, just less opacity, but bigger the size. Okay, so just to make it more natural. Okay, and by the way, you can make another layer, and you can use um the uh, the Gaussian blur. Okay, I love Gaussian blur. Sometimes I use this, so you can get more natural blending. Okay, this is just another tip. You can do that, of course. You can do that. By the way, you can do this, and you can then unhide all this part, and then make it a little bit transparent. That's like just to have multiple thing going on at the same time, and you can see through this and combine these two layers together. I sometimes use this. I just want to show you that you got like it's solving a mathematical problem. You got multiple ways of doing this. So let's undo. Of course, you can use a really um, like opacity, like a really low opacity but really big sized one, and then you can have a bright area here. And then of course, let me look at the recording because I want to make sure that I'm actually drawing here, because sometimes I can't see it on my iPad because it's so subtle, but the camera, I can record things and make it like smaller so I can see this result. And so you can increase the opacity, but decrease just to make it like a center here to make a highlight. Okay, and of course you can decrease this, but increase the size, just make like a rounded highlight, so it got more texture going on. Because light come this way. Let me redraw this light. Got this ink studio pen light come this way, and got this nice light like this. And of course you can always change the light, doesn't really matter. So yeah, I got this light. uh, yes, pretty good. And then let's talk about a little bit about shadow part, because shadow right now it's a little bit boring. So what I'm going to do is to duplicate this shadow and hide it, because I'm going to alpha lock this. Okay, alpha lock. Right now the light come this way, but we got like a lot of reflection at this area. Sorry, at this area. So not necessarily you have to paint everything black. Okay, so the more farther away you can get more reflection. So that's the reason why I can use airbrush, really soft one, to just make this not so dark. You can use the color, like take a reference to the color here, but also you can make it more creative, because you got this like a mix up color. Okay, you got color here and color here. So let me just make this a little bit brighter, and you can change it to a little bit, like even greenish color. Doesn't really matter at this point. You can just be more creative. Just add a little bit highlight. It's not highlight, by the way. It's not. Just to add a little bit texture. Uh, I think that's maybe a little bit too much. I'm going to make it little bit um, opacity just a little bit, not so big. And what I'm going to do is to add, starting from the edges. I believe I can make it smaller, just to start from edges. Make this just to have a little bit light. A bit, that's too much. Little bit, something like this. Okay, so and add some inside, I believe. And by the way, if you think that's not so good, you can always select this a whole thing and using Gaussian blur. Just make the shadow blurred out. Okay, that's much better. And of course, since everything is off a lock, you don't want that. You want to unlock the whole thing and make the Gaussian blur as well. So the first thing I got Gaussian blur is the like the reflective light inside, blurred it out. But if I unlock the alpha lock and then I use the Gaussian blur, it's the whole shadow. Okay, so the edges of shadow just got like a blurred out. I love this effect. Okay, just a blur it out a little bit. Okay, of course you can use more. You can use like a motion blur. This is really interesting. You can have a specific motion here. So for example, you light come this way, you can sort of change the motion. Okay, just sort of like this. Just make this part a little bit like, let me just use really like drastic change. So like this. Okay, but you don't want that. You just just tiny touch. Okay, just tiny touch here. That should do. Okay, so it's much more interesting than the just simple Gaussian blur. Of course, you can do multiple things. So Gaussian blur, a motion blur, and then Gaussian blur. Okay, so it's much more natural. You got so much thing going on here, so it's less artificial. Okay, I believe that's pretty good for the first object, and then in next video we are going to change the material of this object and just try things out. Okay, thanks, and don't forget to give this video a thumb up. If you haven't already, please give me a subscription. Please give this video a thumb up and please subscribe to my channel. Okay, thanks. Bye. Yeah. Sorry, I did not know how to pause this video. Okay, thanks. Yeah, sorry.